Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Colts Cast. We are here to talk about everything and anything Indianapolis Colts. Of course, my name is Eric Smith, co-host of the Colts Cast. Alongside me, as always, I have co-host Jamal Lawrence here.
Yo, I can't be moving too fast, man. I move too fast, the light kind of gets away and my camera goes dark. Gotta be careful.
Please be sure to follow us on social media. Our Twitter handle is @thecoltscast. Instagram is @coltscast. We are on YouTube now. Go ahead and subscribe to us. It'd be very, very helpful to us. We want to grow our channel on there. We want to do some amazing things in the future. All right. So we have a lot to get into today. It's never a dull week for the Indianapolis Colts.
Nope.
Jamal, I'm going to start with the injury report, and then we just going to get right into it, you know.
Say less.
As we know, Ashton Dulin, I don't think he plays this week. And he got hit really hard by Derwin James last week. I don't think he plays, and especially with all the concussion stuff going around and people passing away and stuff with head injuries, I wouldn't want him to play. I know he wants to, but I'd rather be cautious with that. We got Kylan Granson, Rodney McLeod, and Kenny Moore. Did not participate in practice for Thursday. Rodney McLeod was there. So I expect him to play, but yeah, the other three, not really sure yet. Kenny Moore has been out for a while. Colin Granson missed last game, so we'll see what happens. Just those 4 players on the injury report. So, Jamal, where would you like to start?
We should probably start off with the Colts cast and then probably turn it to the Raiders cast because I feel like they're going to have some precedent on my talk today and then go back to the Colts cast. But no, we'll start with the Colts, man. We'll start with the Colts. Big game this week. Big game for us for the sake of needing to continue the tankathon. Big game for the Giants. They need to win this game to get to the playoffs to clinch that spot for them. So I like to think that they're going to come out playing strong. But before we go to talk about them, I want to talk about the Indianapolis Colts. Jeff Saturday said after the game that he plans to start Nick Foles for the next 2 weeks. So Nick Foles is going to be the starter for the remainder of the season. You know how I feel about that?
Yeah, I see you getting see the steam popping out of your ears right now.
Yeah. You know, it is what it is at this point. They made it crystal clear that they're not going to use Ellinger. Sucks, but you know, it's what it is. It is what it is. Jeff Saturday has a plan. Whether that plan is about tanking or he just truly feels that Nick Foles is the best person to be in that spot, it is what it is. I can sit here and go down a rabbit hole all day as to why he doesn't need to be there, but we don't get to make those calls. We just get to talk about him, and then we get to watch it all unfold and talk about it right after the game. So I kind of enjoy our role anyways. We don't get picked on.
Yeah, I've already publicly stated I would like to see Sam Ehlinger play the last 2 games of the season. It makes sense just from a strategic standpoint. Do we actually see this guy as a potential franchise quarterback? Do we see this person as a backup? Like you said in previous episodes, can we use him as ammo for a trade or anything? It just makes sense, you know, to see what Sam Ehlinger can do, see what his potential is, see what his true potential is. Especially against the Giants, I don't think their defense is that great. But I think this matchup's going to be tough. The Texans' defense is not that great, even though they've been playing competitive recently. But at least, you know, give the guy a chance. We tried to do it, you know, in the middle of the season under Frank Wright. Why not do it now? But
yeah,
it seems like the plan is Nick Foles. Yeah, look, that's fine with me at this point. I'm looking at the tankathon. We're 5th overall. I expect us to maybe go up a pick or 2. We'll see what happens. But 5 is a solid pick. 5 is great. Top 5.
It honestly really is, especially when we look back, we were like 9th or so, and in my mind, I was thinking, we're going to have to give us some capital. We're going to have to trade something to be able to get down. And the Colts said, yeah, don't worry about trading anything. We're just going to figure out a way to lose it all so we can get there naturally. And I'm not mad about it.
Right now, I do not want to trade up to the number 1 or 2.
No. Yeah, it's not worth it.
Personally, and from what I've seen, I don't think there's a clear-cut number 1 quarterback right now, and I don't think there's someone that's just so highly coveted that we have to trade up for him. Like, I don't see a Joe Burrow of this draft right now. I won't. I got to see what they do in pre-draft stuff and during the combine. But right now, I don't see a Joe Burrow. I don't see a Trevor Lawrence. I don't see a Andrew Luck type of prospect. So I don't want to trade up. I think top 5. Like why are we trading up to like 2 if we're number 5? I don't want to do that personally. But anyway, let's get into that Giants matchup. The Colts visit MetLife Stadium. They take on the Giants. 1 p.m. Sunday, our normal time.
Yeah.
No more prime time. A very important game for the Giants because they just need to win to get in the playoffs, I think. For us, it's just another filler game for us until, the failure of this season comes to a close. Jamal, give me your thoughts about this matchup. Let me know.
I think it's pretty clear cut what's going to happen. Like you mentioned earlier, the Giants' defense doesn't really scare me that much. I'm not too concerned with them, but I also know that the Colts' offense doesn't score, so I think it could make the Giants' defense look elite in a crucial game for them. It can make them look very, very good. As far as defensive wise goes for us, I expect our defense to come out and have a fairly good game. Barkley, the biggest thing I've noticed with Barkley out of the games I've watched for them this season is he's been great. At the beginning of the season, he started off really well, but then he kind of he slowed down a little bit. But he always, pretty much for what it's worth, finds a way to get his yards. He finds a way to grab those yards and finds a way to sneak into the end zone. So I expect him to have a couple of decent carries and maybe even get a touchdown when they get close to the red zone. But honestly, the way our defense has been playing, I think that we got a chance to really contain Barkley and the Giants as a whole and them not run as crazy as a game as we expected. Similar to like all of our other games we've seen this season, I really only expect it to be bad on the scoreboard when the defense is having to be out there for an extended period of time. But all in all, I really think our defense gives us a chance to keep this game a lot closer. And if we had the proper weapons on offense, put us in position to win the game, but it just won't happen as far as winning the game. But I'm excited to see what our defense can do up against a New York Giants offense. I kind of want to see what happens when Barkley gets a chance to break away and we can stop him, or Daniel Jones try to get a breakaway and Zaire comes and smacks him up a little bit. I'm excited to see that kind of stuff. I'm not ready to see the offense play. I'll be honest with you. I do not look forward to seeing that debacle.
So as soon as I heard that Nick Foles was starting this week against the Giants, I'm in the finals right now in my fantasy league. I scooped up the Giants defense immediately.
Man,
I'm sorry. I had to, and it's a business. I expect Nick Foles to still be terrible. We'll see what happens. But, I'm basing off his last game. So if you look at his last game, absolutely woeful, terrible. I was rewatching some of the game. I saw a play. He was in shotgun. In shotgun, you've already dropped back so many steps when you take the snap. But he took a 10-step drop after the snap. Dude went back like 10 yards, and and we blame our offensive line, but it's just easier for the edge rusher or whoever to get to the quarterback when you're way back there, not in the pocket, essentially. But anyway, I don't have faith in this offense. It's broken. Until they show me signs of life, you can't really rely on this offense to generate points. Zach Moss, I said he was a bright spot last week. He needs like 20 carries for us to get in the red zone. Offensive line has to play above average. They've gotten better under Jeff Saturday, but it's still not up to par. Nick Foles has to be at least average. At least average. That's not a lot to ask for. Like, he has to be at least average. Wow. Play design and play calling have to take the next step up. We can't have all of our receivers running hitch routes or some rudimentary bull crap. There needs to be some, you watch a 49ers game, you watch a Kansas City game, and their offensive play calling is on a different level. And you can tell. Even with our receivers, they're going to have to make big catches because they're not going to get amazing throws every time from Nick Foles. they're going to have to make plays. They're going to have to get yards after catch. They're going to have to do something to help us move the chains. Jelani Woods, he's going to have to be on the field for at least 50% of the offensive snaps, regardless if Kylen Granson is out or healthy. Doesn't matter. He has to be on the field. Like I said, there's a positive correlation with yardage and moving the chains and going downfield on our drives when Jelani Woods gets the ball in his hands. When Jelani Woods is even just on the field. So, and then the offensive system just as a whole, it just needs to have cohesion. Everyone needs to be on the same page. Nick Foles, he's barely had reps with this first team. Whether that's, where to line up correctly, what route to run on the actual play, who to block, who's your assignments, etc. It's just it's all a big mess right now. And I don't think it's going to get better. It's the last 2 games. I mean, the players are playing they're trying to play as hard as they can, but it's just the system itself. They're deemed to fail. It really is.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And 2 things about that. For one, going back to Jelani, I definitely agree. We have to have him on the field. He needs to be on there as much as possible. And really, when I think about the playbook and the play calling, you know how they can take this to the next level, Eric, without having to redraw up new plays or figure out a new scheme? Make it double tights. Put 2 tight ends out there. You got Mack or Granson, or for what it's worth, Mack. And then you're going to have Woods on the other side. For now, you have an extra blocker in Mack. You got a route runner in Woods. We can contain a lot more. Or you can have both of them go out. You can do so much more with double tights in a situation like this where our O-line is not the best and we're not going to have a quarterback who can really do too much. Why not utilize these things we have? If we don't need to have a running back, a small running back there blocking against a, big linebacker coming full steam ahead, then put an extra tight end out there. Let him work down with the tackles. I mean, because it only helps you. It only makes you better. And speaking of, kind of like you said, the cohesion and learning how not only does Nick Foles not have does he not have the system down with the current starting offense, we look at Ryan Kelly. He talked about in an interview where he talked about 9 different quarterbacks he's been with now. 9. Nick Foles, Matt Ryan, Sam Ehlinger, Carson Wentz, Phillip Rivers, Jacoby Brissett, Brian Hoyer, Scott Tolson, and A. Luck since he's been with the Colts. He's going to be on his 10th quarterback potentially next year. Yeah. Only thing I think about are getting snaps off if you're the center. Because you don't know, I mean, I know they get a chance to practice and all that good jazz, but you still, certain quarterbacks want the ball a certain way. They're going to want to, and Ryan Kelly as the center, it's now his responsibility. It's not Nick Foles' responsibility to make sure that he catches every ball that comes. It's Ryan Kelly's job to make sure that every snap that goes back there is where Nick Foles needs it and where he's expecting it. That's a lot to ask for someone who already has to try to snap the ball, step, and block the guy in front of him. Now they have to try to make sure they're doing it to your liking. The 3rd quarterback on the season now, to your liking. Even though they do get some reps in practice, I'm sure they do, it's not full speed reps. Nick Foles isn't out there with the starting O-line getting full team reps. They may get it in warm-ups, or something like that, but he's not out there every time, especially before leading to last week. So I think about the disadvantage that a Ryan Kelly is at when he's having to deal with another quarterback, and the disadvantage that the rest of the line is as well, because now, again, they're going to block one way for a quarterback that's not mobile versus a quarterback that is mobile. They're going to try their best to accommodate, but we know that just doesn't always happen. So I really think it's important to note that as important it is for Nick Foles to be on the same page as the receivers and the tight ends, he has to be on the same page as the linemen as well, because they play the biggest role for his success.
Yeah, let's hold down that C gap, add that extra tight end.
Yeah. Yep.
That's what it's there for, right?
Yep.
I hear you. I agree all the way. I just want to give a shout out to Dallas Flowers.
Oh, yeah.
If you didn't see that stat about him that we posted on social media, he leads the league in yards per kickoff return by a wide margin at 32.9 yards.
That's nuts.
That's not only nuts. Shout out to him. The next highest is Boston Scott at 27.9. And I know a lot of casual football fans might be thinking it's not a relevant statistic, because you start at the 25-yard line on a touchback. That's only extra 8 yards of better field position on average. But to me, that's essentially a set of downs that Flowers is moving for us before our offense even gets out there. And to my understanding, this is the average yards he picks up from where he catches the ball. So if he's receiving the ball at the 7-yard line, the kickoff, we're basically at the 40 to start the drive. I think that's impressive. You know,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I was going to say it's very impressive because I think it was in the Vikings game where when they were on their way making it back and he had an explosive return after they did a score. And of course we didn't do anything with it. But the point is that set us up for great field position. Great. I don't know if he made it across the 50, but it was definitely really close to it. And that's not the first time he's done it. I mean, like you said, the 33 speaks for itself. He always, when he touches that ball, he puts us in great field position.
Yeah. I would like to see him on the football field next year for the Colts because, like I said, the next highest is 27.9. I mean, he's the only one in the 30s for kickoff returns. So whatever you think how minute that might be, that's still impressive to me. I don't know why our teams are still kicking off to him. He's so good as a kickoff returner. I mean, why even risk it? But hey, do you know? Keep kicking it to him. I'm happy for that. So big props to Dallas Flowers. Keep doing your thing, man. I wish the best for you.
I hope he takes one to the house this week. That'd be great to see.
That would be amazing. Brian Daboll, he's about to take this team to the playoffs in year one. I'm going back to the Giants matchup. I think they're just going to be hype as fuck Sunday. I do not expect this game to be competitive, even though I don't know how the Giants win games. Like it's weird because I've seen some of their games, but they somehow find a way to do it. Because their offense isn't like their wide receiver. They just drafted Wan'Dale Robinson's been on the IR. I feel like they're always rotating receivers out. I mean, they have Saquon Barkley, and he's back. I mean, he's one of the best running backs I've seen in this past decade, and now he looks fully healthy. He's back. I mean, that's their best weapon. But other than that, I don't think most people can name me receivers off the Giants. Daniel Jones, he's had some good games. He can run it. He's definitely a mobile quarterback. I just, the Giants, if we were playing them and we actually had a future going into the playoffs, I wouldn't be too terrified of them. But we don't have a real head coach. We don't have an offensive coordinator. There's a lot of things going on. We have washed up quarterback. So it's a completely different situation right now. So I don't think this game will be competitive. I mean, you're about to have Kayvon Thibodeau coming off the edge, who they just drafted. Yeah, he was supposedly consensus, best player available, but then that injury history brought him down a few spots. So I think Bernard Raymond might be in for another hard day. So I expect the Giants to mop us up. I'm talking we only scored 3 points last week. I think we get I don't know. I think we get a touchdown and then go for a 2-point convert. I don't know. I think it's going to be 24-6 or something. Maybe it's 2 field goals. Chase McLaughlin, Mr. Automatic. He's going to hit it for us, but
unless we go for it on every 4th down, but keep going.
Yeah. Well, or if we can convert a 3rd down.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
So that's my score prediction. I expect us to continue to lose. We'll retain our 5th spot. I think the teams ahead of us, was it Arizona, Denver, Chicago, and Houston for draft picks. I mean, Houston might win one. Chicago's lost 8 straight. I thought they were going to shut down Justin Fields. I don't think they're going to. The Broncos are in disarray, but they got their head coach fired, so maybe they might win a game. And then Arizona, they lost Kyler Murray. Not much going on with them, so we still probably will be in this pick 5 spot by the end of the week.
Yep, we sure will. And yeah, I'm not looking forward to it either. I do think this game is this game will be a blowout. It'll be, like I said, I think the defense will hold down the fort for the first half, but the second half is where the Giants will probably turn it up just because at that point we won't be converting anything. So It's going to be hard to continue to play with that same enthusiasm when we're not converting anything. So I expect another, like you said, 3 or 6 point game. Not too much more. They made it very, very clear to me against to what I still think is, for what it's worth, a okay Chargers defense. They made it very clear they couldn't figure out anything. So I don't expect anything more. I just really don't. I don't know. Yeah, it's gonna be ugly.
Well, what if we had Derek Carr back there? Would you feel better about that?
Well, you know what?
Would we tear up the Giants?
All day long, man, I've been pondering on this. And you know what, Eric? I'm going to tell you and the rest of Colts Nation. Hey, unless I'm getting a package deal that includes Devontae Adams, don't bring Derek Carr in my building. Don't bring him. Because, let me tell you what's going to happen. If you decide, all right, fine, Derek Carr, who's been in Las Vegas now, or with the Raiders, for 9 years, I just want to point that out, 9 years. We know that, players can last a lot longer, but he's been in the league now for 9 years. We're going to just throw everything away and decide we don't want to get a young quarterback who could be our potential new guy just for one player. I don't like Derek Carr for just that one thing. Now, if you're going to bring me a package deal where we decide maybe give up a first-round pick, give up a second-round pick, absorb Devontae Adams' contract, because, the Raiders only gave up a first-round pick and a second-round pick for him. Absorb his contract. Derek Carr has, 1 year left on his contract, $33 million guaranteed next year in case of injury or whatever. We all we do is eat money anyway on the Indianapolis Colts. Go ahead and absorb that crap. Take it. Give away our first round, second round. Give away another player. We can give away a star player. Again, if they want a Shaq Leonard, if they want to entertain that, if they want to entertain a Kenny Moore, if they want to entertain any of those people like that, anybody is up. Anybody is up for grabs. Obviously, I don't want Josh Jacobs. I mean, I like Josh Jacobs. We don't need him. We have JT in the backfield, so I'm not even going to entertain that. I don't think they would probably like the trade, but it doesn't matter. As well as Zaire has played this year, I don't know that he would be enough for a team after just 1 year of play. I think he's shown some really highlight, but you have a Shaq Leonard who has been, kind of battle tested throughout the first portion of his career. I could see why teams would rather that. But I would be willing to deal and negotiate, because if we were to do something like that, give up a first round, second round, give up a star player, or maybe 2 other players, 2 smaller players, and another pick at 3 picks total, then what does that look like, Eric? We have a true wide receiver 1. We have a mobile quarterback. Line can be more competent. I don't know, man. I mean, I also think about the fact that with those 2 players, now you open the door for other head coaches who don't want to have to come in and try to rebuild from the ground up, because now they have at least some kind of structure. Because I know that a lot of coaches, the Sean Paytons and these guys, which I don't think that Jim would probably go for anyway, but those guys, I don't know that they'll be willing to come into a situation where they have to start legit from the ground up with a rookie quarterback with nothing around them, no true weapons around them. So if you get a Derek Carr and a Devontae Adams, again, a package deal, maybe you open the door for a vet coach who is willing to come out of retirement, or willing to deal kind of with what we have in this situation. But I just don't want Derek by himself. I don't want him by himself. If that's the case, I want to go with my draft pick and keep it and go for a quarterback.
All right. So, in case Colts Nation didn't know, the Las Vegas Raiders have benched Derek Carr in favor of Jarrett Stidham. It looks like Josh McDaniels, he's trying anything at the moment. It took a devastating loss from the Pittsburgh Steelers for Coach to make this move. Derek Carr, he went 16 for 30 for 174 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions in that last game. 3 carries, 14 yards. Ever since his benching, he's stepped away from the team to avoid distractions. And just like Jamal said, you know what this means. He won't be the Raiders quarterback in 2023, and you know why this has an impact on the Indianapolis Colts. Chris Ballard loves veteran quarterbacks.
Loves them.
So now, I guess I don't know if I agree with that, Jamal, but I will be upfront about it. I don't want the Colts to go after Derek Carr. So I think there's several reasons for this. One, I don't want to give up precious draft capital or promising players for him. You got to think about, the last few drafts, we've just been missing our picks because we've been trying to bandage a quarterback, and this just continues that cycle. So, and then you see it doesn't always work out for the receiving team of the quarterback that got traded. The Seahawks were predicted to be one of the worst teams in the NFL after the Russell Wilson trade. And now we're week 17? They've exceeded expectations.
Let's ride.
And are currently still in the playoff hunt with Geno Smith at the helm. While the Broncos country, let's ride, have been the biggest disappointment in the NFL.
This is even bigger than the Colts.
Yeah, even bigger than the Colts, because we didn't get a star Hall of Fame quarterback in his prime.
Y'all wanted him too, boy.
Hey, hindsight's 20/20.
Yeah,
but not to mention all the draft picks they got for him: 2 first-rounders, 2 second-rounders, etc. Deshaun Watson, despite what you think about him, highly coveted quarterback in the offseason, put up elite numbers and with the Texans, and the Texans were boo-boo back then. The Browns gave up 3 first-round picks and some 3rd and 4th-round picks. 3 first-round picks. That's a lot of that. That's a long time to ever pick in the first round again. Watson hasn't been great in his 4 games back, and he might get a pass because he hasn't really been able to practice or anything. He just got there. Russell Wilson, on the other hand, has had the entire season and preseason. So, then you look at the situation we're in now. The Carson Wentz experiment failed. The Matt Ryan experiment has failed. I think it's time to start fresh. It's time to end this bad habit. And this is nothing against Derek Carr. He isn't bad. He's 31, 3-time Pro Bowler, just made the playoffs last season under head racist John Gruden. That was without Devontae Adams too. Without him. He had Henry Ruggs for maybe half the season until he got arrested. They're doing Derek Carr.
That whole squad, Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah, they're doing Derek Carr wrong. They should not have benched him. This is kind of a drastic move, in my opinion. But I'm not a Raiders fan. I'm not going to speak on that. But he's one of the better deep ball passers in the NFL. He's a quality QB. However, I still want the Colts to build something good, build something from the ground up. We've been spoiled with Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning in terms of QB success. But I kind of want to try to, find that again. And some would venture to say that Andrew Luck was a failure just because he retired. But we were building a winning culture around these quarterbacks that we drafted. That's been our MO, right? So, while Derek Carr helps us out in the short term, and, you're talking about getting Devontae Adams as well, that's potential short term as well. And hey, we're a small market too. I just don't think Devontae Adams want to be. I don't know, but Colts Nation, we need a long term answer at QB. So I'm still team draft a QB in April. So,
man, that was very elegantly put, and I agree. Like I said, I'm not making a case for Derek Carr one bit. I don't really want him. I'm just saying that I know Chris Ballard. I know how he rolls. If he's the GM next year, he sees a value pick or a value player like that, a potential value player like that, I know him. He'll try to jump on something like that. We've witnessed it.
Yeah.
We have legit witnessed it. And I just think, I don't know. And Eric, I can go down this rabbit hole all day long because I have looked at countless mock drafts, and every single one I look at has us trying to take Will Levis when C.J. Stroud is still there. And I just don't understand it. I understand it. I actually do understand it. But I don't understand it because I just don't see why you would pass up on a quarterback like CJ, who's shown you that he can do it with the great crew around him, versus a Will Levis who I still am not too much sold on. I still don't think he's a top 5, but I don't know my top 5, so I'm not going to sit here and say I can name them because that'll be a lie. My point is I just don't understand why we would potentially pass up on a CJ Stroud because I say this right here to you, Eric, because all these rumors keep popping up about Chris Ballard saying how he really wanted Justin Fields. He wanted Justin Fields. Blah 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 blah. Justin Fields, and it didn't happen. So if you really wanted Justin Fields, this is your opportunity right now to make it happen with the CJ Stroud. I'm not saying that he's a Justin Fields style scrambler, but he's he has more of that play than a Will Levis does. So you got to attack it. And I think that if you choose Will Levis over, if he's still the GM at this point, then all of that was a lie. It was all just a ploy. You know what I mean? Because you have something in your hands, in your grasp right now that we have full control of the boat over. We have full control over it. Because right now, we would be that second team drafting a quarterback. We know the Cardinals don't need a quarterback. We know that what's the other squads in front of us? Texans are probably going to take Bryce Young. We know that.
Not necessarily.
Well, fine. But they're going to either venture for Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. One of the two of them. They're going to venture. And you telling me that if one of the two of them are up there, as of right now, yes. If one of the two of them are still up there and we would pick a Will Levis over that, I just have a hard time understanding that because it just doesn't really make too much sense to me. I guess...
Everyone's got this bad taste in their mouth about Will Levis
because he's only
already.
played for 2 years and he hasn't done anything. He moved to the SEC
to
try to
get 2021 season.
Dude, do we need to pull up stats? You can't say that. You can't say so. You would pick Will Levis right now if you had Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, and Will in front of your face right now. You're gonna with a very 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 good conscience say, "Come on, Will, I got you."
Probably not, but I want to see what happens in the next coming months. Yeah, right now I'm taking Richardson, Stroud, or Young over Levis, but they are all right now in that tier 1. Some people have Richardson like round 2. Some people don't like Bryce Young. Some people don't like Stroud. There's no consensus right now. A lot of people don't like Will Levis. I don't necessarily not like him. He has the tools. Like, he looks like a almost replica build of Josh Allen. He has a huge arm.
Right. I'll let you finish.
He can run. He's got arm talent. Like, there are things to like, and I don't know if we can write him off just yet.
I agree, but now are we always going to just only go by what a build is? We're going to say every quarterback who's 6'4", 230 pounds is going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread? Because I feel like that's the route we're going to start going now.
No, but I also just don't want Chris Ballard. Because this Justin Fields thing, we don't even know if Justin Fields is the real deal yet. Yes, we've seen him run.
Yeah.
He's very fun to watch, but he is not as polished as a passer as you want your franchise quarterback to be.
For sure.
So, but they need to build around him and see what he's about. We got Bears fans as our friends. I talk to him all the time about, the potential, who they need and stuff. Like, we were talking about, the Bears potentially trading for T. Higgins, things like that. So,
right. They need a receiver.
Yeah, they need a number 1, but I will not say like, oh, we missed on Justin Fields just yet. Like that.
Yeah, no, and I'm definitely not saying that we missed on Justin Fields. I'm just saying that after all of the stuff that's going on in our quarterback debacle, it's starting to come out more and more of how he really wanted Fields and this and that and everything else. So I'm saying that while you have an opportunity to possibly, as draft stock continues on, and pro days go on and all that good jazz, you have an opportunity to take a look at what's on the table. If you just pass up on someone because strictly of a build, then I don't know that's going to be the best route to take, because I feel like we're going to have someone around us, because we clearly know that we have a MPJ who we're going to consider our wide receiver 1, but do we think he's a true wide receiver 1 on any other team? That goes up for debate. We have a great running back in our backfield there for us. I want to see a quarterback come into the game who's going to be able to still work well with our weapons. I haven't watched enough film on Will Levis, so I'm not going to sit here and say that he can't work with a subpar wide receiver 1. and the rest of our crew, because I do think that our receivers are decent, and I just haven't watched enough film of him. But I'm just saying that I need to see that he's going to be able to be a playmaker when it needs to count. And again, I even said during our season midseason draft thing we talked about that C.J. Stroud is an outlier because he does have Marvin Harrison Jr. there, who has not dropped a single pass. So it does inflate you whenever I see someone like that who you can just put the ball, a Larry Fitzgerald style, where you can put the ball anywhere and he's going to figure out a way to catch it and come down with it. So I do think that is a little skewed. But I also just have to watch more film on both of them. I've seen enough Ohio State just because they play them on TV nonstop, but I hadn't really got a chance to sit there and dissect Kentucky's film, and I'll have to watch full games instead of highlights because I don't want to just see his only explosive plays. I want to see what he's doing in crunch time when the line isn't blocking well for him, when he doesn't have his number one ready to go for him. So I just get scared over the entire situation because going back to how we first started off, Ballard is a value guy. Ballard can see the value in Carr and just really not get the opportunity to utilize what we need. Or he could say, I don't even want to touch that if he's still there. And then I could also see him saying that we can try to get value elsewhere. So I don't know. I mean, we could very well be in a situation where he doesn't even touch a quarterback in the first round. He can roll. So
I've already talked about it.
Yeah, you're right.
We keep creeping up the draft. We gonna be drafting Jalen Carden or Will Anderson Jr. I'm telling you, I can see it happening, and there's reason to that. You might want the next Aaron Donald. You might want the next Myles Garrett, Khalil Mack. I mean, we can go on and on and on. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Hey, that's going to be it for us, everyone. Thank you for listening to the Colts Cast. We're live on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any platform you use to listen to podcasts. We'll be back next time to give you some more Indianapolis Colts content. Y'all, take care.
Take care.